Hey everyone, it's Brandy, just checking in. It's been exactly a week since I did my last video and gave you an update, so I kind of wanted to fill you in what's going on. Today is Tuesday, February 11th, and since my last update, last Wednesday I had the stomach bug. I ended up staying home from work and I was in and out of the bathroom, so luckily I wasn't vomiting or anything like that, but it was not pleasant at all. But it only lasted for about 24 hours, and then I went back to work the next day, and my symptoms have continued on. I've noticed that I've been urinating a lot more, especially at nighttime, which is weird. I have been increasing my water intake, and so I figured it was that, but I'm drinking most of my water during the day and only having to use the bathroom maybe once every couple hours, so I'm not sure. And then at nighttime I don't drink a lot of water just because I don't want to have to go to the restroom like in the middle of the night and stuff. So it was kind of weird that it seemed like I was using the bathroom about every 30 minutes. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. My nausea, I've been feeling very queasy in the mornings and the evenings. First thing in the morning when I wake up, I feel queasy, and then it'll subside later on in the day, and then it'll come back almost right before I go to bed. So that's a symptom I've never had that symptom before. The other thing is that I've been extremely tired. I have been coming home and just so worn out that I lay on the couch or go to bed and I can fall asleep in just a matter of minutes. I actually wanted to watch the Olympics, and they come on at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I wasn't able to watch them. I fell asleep. So I did DVR them, so I did see them, so I was excited I did that. But it's just crazy. Like, I know a lot of people are Candy Crush fans, and I just started playing not too long ago, so I'm still kind of addicted to it, and I'm just so tired I haven't even been able to play it lately. It's just, even though it's a simple game to play, it's just, I'm too exhausted, so I haven't really done anything like that anymore. The only other thing is, I've just made some notes here because so much has gone on. My face is still breaking out a little bit. I have breakouts whenever I am ovulating or my cycle is going to start anyway. Not as many, but those are kind of my telltale signs it's coming. But I think I do remember breaking out with the Clomid last time, so again, I'm chalking it up as side effects of the medication. Now, I did break down and I did test on Friday, February 7th. The only reason I did that, it wasn't necessary to see if I was pregnant or not, because I knew it was way too early. I wanted to see if the trigger shot was out of my system. I know a lot of girls will test themselves and they'll test the trigger shot out, and I didn't do that, and so I was just really curious because with the queasy feeling and everything, I was thinking it could have been that still in my system, but it wasn't. It was, the test was negative, so it showed that the trigger shot was out of my system, and any test results after that would probably be accurate, so I wouldn't have any false positives or anything. So I did test on the 7th. I also tested this morning, which is my 13th day after IUI, and it was negative as well. So I'm kind of thinking this is a wash for this month, and I'm bummed, but I've just remained realistic through the whole thing, and I do realize that, you know, maybe 10% of females have a success with the first one, and then the rest, it normally takes 2 or 3 or sometimes even more, just depends. So I haven't like had any breakdowns or anything like that, and I don't foresee me doing that, only because I know we're going to try again. I think if we weren't going to try again, I would definitely be devastated and probably at my wit's end, but we are going to, so I'm going to try to remain positive about the whole situation. I have to test again tomorrow because it's the 14th day, and my doctor suggested me to go ahead and test. I did have to go in today because I had my class that I needed to learn how to do the injectables for just in case purposes, and since my test was negative, I'm really glad that I did go ahead and pre-schedule that. The class was pretty simple. They just basically went over the side effects and told me what my insurance would cover, which they're going to put me on something called Gonal F, and then I'll also use the trigger shot. I asked if I was going to be taking the Clomid as well, because if so, I didn't want to take Clomid. I wanted to try Femira instead because of the side effects of Clomid, and they said that they don't recommend doing that the first time. They wanted to see how the the hormonal shots work first, because you don't want to overstimulate your ovaries. So I was kind of glad that they're not putting me on the Clomid, and I'm just going to be doing the shots plus the trigger. So they asked me to test tomorrow, because if I'm negative still, then I need to go ahead and order my medications from my mail order pharmacy, and that way they're here in time, because I have to start them on day 2 or day 3 of my cycle, and so they just want me to have it on hand just in case purposes. And especially if I started my cycle on the weekend, that would only give me, if I started on Saturday, which is when I'm supposed to start by my normal cycle. So if I waited till Saturday, and I had my cycle, I would have to wait till Monday to call the pharmacy to get the prescription, and then it takes a day to get to me, so it'll be day 4 by the time it got here, and they do not allow you to do the injectables starting on day 4. They need you to start them earlier because it'll be too late. So a little bit of a time crunch, but I'm thinking it'll all work out. Some things that I'm doing differently this cycle. I'm definitely going to do the pineapple and the grape juice thing, because it just kind of gave me something to do instead of just waiting around for the results. So it felt like I did something, and I know it might not have worked this time, but it doesn't mean it's not going to work again. Who knows? I am eating healthier. I've laid off of fast foods, and I'm just trying to eat more fruits and vegetables and things of that nature. And then I have increased my water intake, like I said before, and I've also added whole milk. I normally don't drink milk. I'm pretty much a straight almond milk or coconut milk type of person, only because milk upsets my stomach from time to time, and I'm not lactose intolerant, but I'm not sure why it upsets my stomach, but just the straight glass of milk, it goes right through me. So what I've done is I have gotten, I think it's called Horizon milk, and it's organic, so I figured it would be the healthiest for me, and maybe it wouldn't upset my stomach. I also got some Ovaltine chocolate to mix in with it, only because I haven't had milk in a long time, and I don't particularly like the taste of it, so I needed something to put in it, but I didn't want like the syrup, cocoa syrup, and that you put on ice cream, and you can like Nestle Quick. I didn't want to have that because of all the sugars and stuff in it, so I went ahead and got the Ovaltine because it has vitamins and everything in it, so I figured that wouldn't hurt. My husband is also on a vitamin. he joked around and said maybe he should take my prenatal vitamins with me when I take them, but so I kind of decided that he needed to have a multivitamin himself, so I got him just a standard multivitamin, nothing specific, and he's going to start taking that. He actually started yesterday taking it, so I've heard that it might increase the swimmers a little bit, so we'll see. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was I've kind of mentioned that my doctor is not very thorough. He is very the type of person like almost like don't ask, don't tell situation. Like if I don't ask the questions, he's not going to give me the answers. So, and then sometimes when I ask the questions, he will give me a very short answer, like a yes or no. He doesn't really explain a lot. And when we went to do the IUI, he basically just told us that everything looks good and did the IUI. So I kind of went on with that, but I noticed that some people are getting other numbers, so to speak, from their doctor, like the percentage of mobility of the swimmers, the count of the swimmers, just, you know, if some people are having ultrasounds to make sure they ovulated or not. And my doctor does not do that at all, and that kind of irks me a little bit because my insurance doesn't pay for this stuff, and I'm paying cash. And so my feeling is if I'm paying cash, then you need to do everything in your power to help me conceive a child, period. If my insurance was paying for it, I would feel the same way, but I wouldn't feel so cheated, I guess. So I decided after my appointment today, I decided this because I asked the nurse if he could give me numbers, and she said that he does not have the lab capabilities to do so, but that he's seen tons and tons of people's swimmers, and he knows what's good and what's not good. And I believe him, but you still need to know sometimes. So after my appointment, I got in my car, and I decided that I was going to make an appointment for a consultation in Charlottesville, and they got me in for March 4th, which I'm excited about. Unfortunately, it's a 2-hour drive, so it's a 2-hour drive to get there and then a 2-hour drive to get back. So it's going to be a pretty long day. I am going to have to take a half a day off of work. I'm praying that my boss works with me and that I can just make up the 4 hours with maybe working through my lunch breaks or staying over or coming in earlier. And my husband does not have to be there, they said, so at least he'll be able to save his time. His job is a little bit more stricter than mine, and basically once he's out of vacation days, they don't allow him to take off anymore. But if I run out of vacation days, I have two options. I can use FMLA, or I can take unpaid sometimes. So it varies, but it's easier for me to get off of work than it is for him. So I plan on going up there around that time, and as far as I know, my insurance said that they would cover everything up there for a second opinion, but the nurse or the receptionist that I spoke with, she said that sometimes because I am still getting treatment from another doctor, they may not cover for a second opinion while I'm under treatment. So if that is the case, then I would have to stop treatment with my doctor here in order to go up there. So after the second IUI, that's when I'll probably have to make a decision as to if I want to do a third one with my doctor here, or if I just want to stop and take a little bit of a break and go up to Charlottesville. I just don't, I don't really know what I want to do, and it's kind of frustrating a little bit. So I don't know. Charlottesville's just more scientific. They're more thorough. Their bedside manner is better. They give you all the numbers you need. They do extensive tests to try to figure out what's going on. All the girls that I've talked to in Roanoke, they've went to Dr. Slackman, which is who I see, and didn't have success, so they went to Charlottesville and had success. And some of them did have to do IVF, which the doctor here does not do that, so that is the only place you can go, unless you traveled south. I think there's one might be in North Carolina or South Carolina. But, so, I'm kind of up in the air about it, but I want to go ahead and conceive. I want it to happen quickly, but at the same time, I don't want to be wasting money either. So, and that's my main fear, I think, of wasting money. And I am very grateful and thankful that my insurance does pay for the injectables. My doctor was actually surprised. So, because they cost minimum $400 sometimes. So, and then it's $400 to $500 plus, depending on your dosages and everything. So, and I'm only supposed to pay, I believe, $40 or $60. So, I don't know. It's just, at least I saved money there, and so I don't feel so bad. But it still, I still want to be pregnant. It's just, and I know it could still be early because my friend was pregnant in December, and she ended up having a miscarriage, unfortunately, but her positive test didn't come until 9 days after her missed period. So, I don't know, it's just, I'm getting to that point where I'm like, okay, well, if it's negative, then AF, come on and show up, because I'm ready to start the next cycle. But anyway, I think that's about it. I am going to my sister and brother-in-law's house to see my nephew to get a baby fixed, because I definitely need that right now. And yeah, I'm along with my cycle might start anywhere between tomorrow and this weekend. We have a snowstorm coming, and Thursday the doctor told me that he already is not, like, they already closed the clinic, so they're not going to be in there. Sorry, that's my dogs running around. So they're not going to be in there Thursday. So if I start my cycle tomorrow, then I won't be able to get to see him till Friday, and that'll be my 3rd day. So I don't know. It's a time crunch, and I just have to wait and see what happens. And if it happens that it just doesn't work out with the injectables, then that's what happens. I guess everything's meant to be for a reason. But anyway, I don't want to take up any more time. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I'll check back in soon. Bye!